Ooh, yeah, it's your boy, Matt Diazabal, coming at you with some new music reviews. Today, I am checking out a band called Vexing Hex with their studio album. It's a Latin word. I think it is pronounced Solve Et Colega. Solve Et Colega. That's the best I got for my Latin, so crucify me in the comments down below. Vexing Hex is like a doom rock goth occult like band that are based out of Illinois. They started this band around 2014, or at least a lot of the members were in a different band called The Haunt, and then over time that band kind of disbanded, and then this band formed. And there's a whole lore behind this band, but I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'll explain it down in the description below. But I will say the band takes influences from Ghost, Dancing, Alice in Chains, The Beatles, and Devo, to name a few. And they definitely have an eclectic style of influences because this album is a little bit all over the place in terms of things that are good. A lot about this album I felt unfortunately was just not very good, and I hope to explain out all the reasons why I don't think this is a great album from this band. And yeah, so let's get into this review. Yeah. So I'm gonna try one more time with the album's name, which is Solve Et Coagula. It's a Latin phrase meaning to dissolve and coagulate, and it's a way to say something needs to be broken down and reformed, broken down and reformed. And I think this band's album definitely needs to be broken down again and remade because just the things on this album need to be rethought and done over because it's just not that great of an album. And I would say the biggest problem with this band is that they just feel very lacking of energy in most of the songs. Like the riffs are very generic, the vocal performances are really weird here, and it just seems like the band doesn't really impress you that much with their music. They're not really putting that much energy, it feels like. Or if this is like on purpose, this whole goth aesthetic doom rock style. I guess that's what this is, but it just seems so low energy. And a lot of their sounds extremely lacking of energy, especially in the first half of the album and on songs like I think it's called Vicophobia and 1000 Eyes. And I think what doesn't help as well, the production on these songs feels really cheap and low budget. So mixing that with the low energy effort from the band, you just kind of get like a poorly made song. And so I'm gonna play a clip of Vivi Wikiphobia, and you can kind of get a sense of that low energy I'm talking about. Like I know doom metal is supposed to be slow and in like brooding and everything, but this just seems so boring and generic. And as you progress through the album, the drums feel very low energy. The guitars don't really have much of a bite to them. And I think the vocals are experimenting too much with their sound. And so they just come off sounding really weird or unenthusiastic. Like on the songs Into the Night, Vivophobia, and 1000 Eyes. Like I said, the first half of this album just doesn't really grab you and doesn't make you really feel much, I think. So I'll play a clip of 1000 Eyes for you. A telescope of your design, the way you came to me, it had to be divine. But is that true, or is it lunacy? It happens like, but I'm the only one who sees. Yeah, just very bland. Surprisingly, the second half of the album seems to have a little bit more passion and the production seems a little bit better, especially on the title track and Mind Funeral. Something about those songs, the band seems to have a little bit more energy and more vibrance to them. I do like the title track and Mind Funeral because they feel very polished and a little bit more fleshed out. And I think because they have more of a cohesive sound, and one being a little bit shorter and the other just being just a well constructed song. I think these are the best songs to like stand out on this album. So I'll play a clip of Mind Funeral for you so you can get a sense of that. Mind Funeral. Something about that goth aesthetic and the more upbeat chorus, it sounds more enjoyable to listen. And some of the songs feel a little bit on the bloated side in terms of the runtime and a bit repetitive, like the song Revived. I think that's how I say it. But yeah, I think if they trimmed a lot of their songs down a bit, I think it would be more enjoyable. But also, I think they're trying to build and create an atmosphere with this album. So I understand what they were doing, but I personally think if they trimmed down their songs, they would sound a lot better. So I would say my final thoughts on this album is that it's just filled with a lot of corny kind of songs that have a very bland feel to it and are poorly executed and made. The few songs that on here that are good aren't strong enough to save the album, I think. If you want to check out something really different from what you're normally listening to, this is definitely an album to check out, but I don't think it's a very strong album. And so with that, I would say Vexing Hex, they would have to redo this album or put in some harder work or come up with something different because this isn't it. And I would say this album is a light to decent 4.5. Mm, yeah. So links down below. Tell me what you think. And yeah, till next time, guys, I will see you in the pit. Yeah.